The one mainstay that has always allowed me to start my day from an empowered state of being has been mindfulness, and my morning routines are chock full with them. I remember when I used to be more of an unconscious creator, letting life kind of happen to me in that hustle mode in the morning. I would wake up, brush my teeth, eat breakfast, then rush out the door and let life happen to me. There was no checking in with my higher empowered state of being. There was no mindfulness, and there was generally no conscious creation to my day. It was just a matter of letting life happen to me, and as a result, I felt even more stressed out. Anything that would happen to me throughout the day, I felt even more taken down. It's like the waves that hit me brought me down, instead of being able to stand in my own inner strength through being in an empowered, conscious state of mind. You may remember some of my other videos about how the mind works and talking about how we live 90% of our days from our subconscious and our unconscious state of our minds, and how mindfulness is really a practice of elevating back into that 10% of conscious creation, because what is in the subterranean levels of your mind, you may not be able to readily rewire in the moment that it happens, and what is in there is generally things that are disserving of us and disempowering us. I almost liken it to me putting on my armor for the day. Without these mantras or these affirmations, however you want to swing it, I would not feel empowered. I would not be able to withstand the challenges that life throws me, or the curveballs, and be able to take them with such ease and grace. When it comes to mindfulness practices, there are really two main goals. Number one, you want to become present. Like I said, you want to take yourself out of the autopilot zone of the subconscious and the unconscious area of your mind, up into the present, the conscious creator. You can only do that through the present moment and reclaiming that awareness, okay? So the first step is awareness. The second part is becoming that director. Because you're a conscious creator now, you have to own that role. You have now stepped into the directorship of your life. Congratulations. It's an amazing, empowered state of being. But now that you are this director, you have to talk to the different aspects of yourself, because another video to check out here for deeper dive and what I'm talking about is the identity tool from the spiritual toolbox. I will definitely link that for you, give you some groundwork to kind of play with here. But what you're doing here is you're talking to different aspects of yourself that make up your whole. There are things like the ego and the mind that like to run wild. This is your opportunity in the morning to put them in their place and let them know who is really driving the car and who is in that driver's seat. So we're going to run through my favorite mantras. These are more like the beginner, the standard mantras. They're ones that I've cultivated over a number of years. I actually don't even really know where they began. It's kind of, I've been using them that long, and they've been such a staple in my life. I definitely don't do life without doing my morning mantras or my morning rituals, but they're really easy to pick up, and over time you can memorize them. The key to making anything successful when it comes to mindfulness is to personalize it specifically to you, and to be as thorough as possible. As you may have heard about how your words are spoken, vibration and intention, we really want to make sure we're able to cite these out loud in a space that you are comfortable. I highly recommend that. I've had less results. It has less intensity when I just say it in my mind quietly. I mean, you do what you have to do. Maybe sometimes you're traveling or you're in other areas. You can say them internally, silently, but best results, like 10 times better, is to say them out loud. Another quick tip before we get into the practice of it is I typically stand. Even though I'm sitting here in a more casual, comfy environment, having a chat with you in a nature setting, it is best practice to stand up and do these in a way that you can be animated, because it's a form of embodiment. As you are speaking these mantras, you're also able to embody the energy. And I also like being able to gesture or move around and move with the energy that is flowing through, because this is energy work, no doubt. This is a form of energy work. So are you ready to get primed for your day? Let's start with the baseline mantra, and then we are going to workshop it a little bit, and then I'm going to share with you what my version of that sounds like from top to bottom. The very first thing we're going to check in with is our ego. That ego loves to run wild and rampant. So we have to let it be put into its place. And most importantly, you're trying to let it know that you're not going to be controlled by it, okay? You're not going to be solely defined or identified by the ego, even though it will very happily insert itself at the leading front of the aspects of your whole, right? Then also we're going to say the same thing to the mind. The mind will sometimes run off on its own when it's left unchecked. A lot of other tools and deep dives I offer about how the mind works, so you can kind of understand and develop a better relationship with it, to understand its role as a processor and how you can better work with it. The third thing we are going to check in with is the body, especially to my athletes out there or people who love to work out. This is something I personally experience. Is sometimes when it has needs, it's trying to communicate, like it wants conditioning or working out every day. Sometimes if I skip a day between, it's screaming at me. It's like, come on, I want to be worked out. So sometimes I throw that into the mix because it's yet another voice that's kind of consuming my headspace that I don't necessarily want it to. Like I hear it, but I'm going to put it down for a little bit. And then finally, we are going to check in and tap in with the higher self. These 4 aspects of self, in my experience, tend to be the more prominent aspects of self that we deal with on the day-to-day, that when not left in check, they can cause a lot of, like I say, damage control, where you have to step in and try to manage it. So from the top, I'm gonna give you the baseline of the mantra, and then step 2 is I'm going to encourage you to workshop it a little bit, add some personalization that is true to you. And then the third part is I'm just going to share with you what that sounds like for me, for my own personal adjectives added in. Again, with more specificity and the more thorough you make these mantras and personalized to you, the better the outcome, the more it will hit home because it rings true. Okay, the first part is I am not solely defined or identified by the ego. Okay, that gets repeated 10 times. Second, I am not solely defined or identified by the mind. Third part, I am not solely defined or identified by this body. Fourth part, I am a clear and perfect channel with my higher self. Okay, so that's like the scaffolding, okay? That's the boilerplate. Now, step 2 is, for this next phase, you're gonna have to workshop it just a little bit to get your perfect spell or your perfect mantra worked out, and then you can begin to practice that, okay? So let's go back to the first aspect of self, the ego. That one remains the same, no tweaking there. It's simply stating over and over, I am not solely defined or identified by the ego, repeated 10 times. The second part, for the mind, I encourage you to insert at least 3 different adjectives that are true to you and how you perceive your mind, because the more you are in harmony with your own truth, the better the outcomes. We don't want to create any level of resistance during this process. In fact, the whole part and the whole goal of the process is to be as dialed in as possible. So same thing here for the next part, the body. I want you to insert a few adjectives that describe your body. How do you view your body? How would you celebrate your body? What is true about your body? Okay. And then the final part for the higher self check-in, I run through a number of different things. You're welcome to adopt all of the phrases that I use, absolutely, or you are welcome to tweak it. Now, this part can involve some customization as well. But without really knowing exactly what you've been introduced to in your spiritual journey and so forth, I'm just going to let you respond to my version and let you decide what you want to tweak from there. Okay, so now that you've got that penciled in, you got your 3 adjectives for both the mind and the body, let's run through what that can sound like from top to bottom. So for me, my morning mantra, the very basic ones I do. There's now like advanced that I do, and I'll be sharing those on my channel as well. But this is the basic baseline. I'm not solely defined or identified by the ego, stated 10 times in a row, ever present with every word that I'm saying. I am present with it. I don't just like, oh, I'm not solely defined or identified by the ego while I'm brushing my teeth and I'm thinking about other things or thinking about my dream. That's not being present, and you're not gonna get the most out of this practice. So from the top, I am not solely defined or identified by the ego. I'm directing who's in charge. Next, I say, I am not solely defined or identified by this intelligent, analytical, quick-witted mind. And I will repeat that about 3 times in a row to really let that sink in. You might notice a subtle energy shift as you state these mantras out loud. That is perfect. The third part I roll through, again, this is my own personalized, so just remember, use your own personal adjectives. I'm not solely defined or identified by this strong, healthy, resilient, lean and toned body, by this vessel uniquely gifted unto me to carry out my mission to inspire and to empower the spiritual journey through higher wisdom teachings, energy work, and mindfulness tools. Again, you don't have to use all of that, but I like to really draw that out because, again, I'm taking my directorship role here very seriously, and anything that I can claim along with the process is also priming my day for who and what I am. And lastly, for the higher self, I'm a clear and perfect channel with my higher self to receive infinite intelligence and unconditional love. Unconditional love, unconditional love, unconditional love, unconditional love. And as I say that, I love to envision my soul is literally like wrapping its arms around me, or my higher self is wrapping its arms around me and giving me this big soul hug. So it's nice and juicy. I riff off of that a little bit more, and I say I'm a clear and perfect channel with my higher self to receive higher wisdom, higher perspective, and higher guidance each and every present moment of this day and of this night. I am a clear and perfect channel with my higher self and all higher aspects of self to receive truth and clarity each and every present moment of this day and of this night. So as you can see, I'm very thorough. I'm taking this directorship very seriously and trying to draw upon the higher aspects of self and to claim the power that I can wield within my grasp. I hope these morning mantras or affirmations that you personalize are super potent and perfect for you, that they light you up and they set you up for an empowered day of being a conscious creator. Please let me know in the comments below how you tweaked your language, what your final mantras come out to be. I would love to see them. Don't forget, for best results, be sure to say these daily or as many times as you need throughout the day. I hope they serve you well, my friend. Thank you so much for subscribing, sharing, and liking this video.